What's up, guys? Ryan here again. Another Think, Learn, and Be Vulnerable vlog. I try not to get political in these, but I mean, sometimes you got to. This is plain and simple. So I kind of want to talk about the NRA and what I have seen be called single issue voters. And it's sort of the same idea behind like anti-abortion legislation and you know, anti try to keep guns right legislation. Um, it's kind of crazy how like I was thinking about the idea of like defund the police, and I put in quotes because I don't know if it's an official movement or not. It's a good idea. I like the idea. Um, do I have issues with its messaging though? Yeah. The problem is though is when you say defund the police, there's an automatic sort of natural reaction to that. Like, no, we need police. Like, you can't take money away from the police. And so then if somebody asks you, okay, well, what do you mean by defund the police? Or you try to explain to somebody what that means, it's a long conversation to have. And honestly, a lot of the solutions that are being put out there in terms of defunding the police, um, a lot more mental health workers, a lot more focus on social programs, you know, helping poor people, getting poor people off the streets, trying to increase access to medical care and, you know, educational resources. Basically, what Defund the Police wants to do is take money away from the police and put it into community building resources and programs. And I actually think that's a really good idea, and that's something that should be done. Most police forces have way more money and way more like militaristic weapons than is necessary to just, you know, enforce the law. Like, you shouldn't need that much. Most countries, you know, I mean, if the cops have some guns, they're not that big. And the sheer fact that we think that we need to do that we need to be protected by the criminal element. Well, quite frankly, most people aren't even exposed to the criminal element. That took a while. What was that? 2 minutes, 3 minutes to explain. But then if you're in the NRA, all you got to do is this: don't touch guns. Is that going to make it harder to get guns? No. Bad. It's so simple. It's so easy, right? Anti-abortion stuff. No abortions. Well, what about late term? No abortions. What about in cases of rape and incest? No abortions. It's so easy. Defund the police. My God, that's a conversation. And while when you dig into it and you break it down, I think it's an excellent idea. It's just not the best marketing. Now, there are some of you out there who would say that, hey, you know, these are activists. It's not their job to come up with good marketing. And I would say no, it absolutely is. Because if you want your message to be received and to make the kind of change that you want to see out there, you have to put it in a way where we don't have to have like these giant, massive conversations. Now, we should have these conversations, but the problem is that if your message is so emotionally resistant and negative to, you know, the people that could actually make the changes, that's a problem. You know, there are too many people out there that hear defund the police and have an immediate negative reaction because up until now, the marketing campaign for police officers has been pretty damn good. And they're quite frankly bulletproof in a lot of cases. Now, unfortunately, all the black victims that they shoot are not bulletproof. And that's why some of the shine is starting to come off the police department. But until we can really start changing the narrative behind how people view the police department, defund the police is going to have a tough road ahead of it. But It's really easy to just say, don't take my guns. It's really easy to say, no abortions. So we need to kind of figure out what's that snappy, like easy to wrap your head around marketing campaign for something like defund the police. And unfortunately, I don't know if there is one, because it is a really complex change. It's many changes, you know. And the problem is too is that it's a large scale systemic change, and people are sort of naturally resistant to large scale changes like that until they get forced into it, until something really bad happens, like, you know, George Floyd, or, you know, Breonna Taylor, or Ahmaud Brown. Like, I could go on. How many people need to be killed before we realize that there's a problem, and killed by the very guns that the NRA and a lot of other gun people have very simply pushed? You know, Second Amendment, Second Amendment. I'm like, have you read the Second Amendment? It actually means that the state should maintain a militia to prevent the federal government from overstepping their bounds. And that militia should also be able to always have access to firearms. It's talking about a militia. It's not talking about regular people. And a militia, a well-regulated militia, is sanctioned by a state government. Like, you know, we don't need this many guns. We really don't. And it's taken to the extreme. So defund the police should also be, yeah, take your guns. Get rid of the guns. There's been enough mass shootings. There's enough stupid people out there who aren't properly trained, who don't know what to do. And they shouldn't have them. So think, learn, and be vulnerable. What can we think about? We need to think about what issues are most important to our lives and figure out a way to convey them to other people in digestible, easy to understand, and hopefully emotionally charged in the right way chunks. What can we learn? Well, we need to learn what our triggers are. We need to learn what are the things that we are like really for, and what are the things that we're really against, and how they affect us emotionally. And are we reacting that way because that's the truth and that's a good thing? Or are we reacting that way because that's just the way we've been taught and the way we've been told? And how do we be vulnerable? Yeah, guns suck. I'm sorry. You know, I hate them. I absolutely hate them. And I think we shouldn't have them. Let's just go back to the old days where everybody carried a sword. That'd be kind of cool. You know, at least then you could only kill like a few people. You can't just like wipe out a rock concert with them, you know, or just no guns that have like 20 bullets in them or more. Or we can do the Chris Rock thing. I know I'm quoting Chris Rock again, where he was like, let's make bullets cost $5,000 a piece. So if you go kill somebody, you better mean it. I don't know. But they scare me. And, you know, I need to sort of look at myself and go, how do I really feel about these things? And should people really have them? And like, honestly, no, I really don't. I think they should be going away. And, you know, if it wasn't, the Second Amendment is, quite frankly, poorly written and screwing over a lot of people. And if anybody out there is a victim of gun violence, well, I feel incredibly bad for you. And I do not wish that upon anybody. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. See y'all later.